Today we're going to learn practical business English from a real interview with the CEO of NEC. This interview covers global business trends, geopolitical risks, and technology topics like AI and cybersecurity. Let's break down key expressions and understand how they are used in real professional conversations.
In the meantime, staying here in Japan, our next guest runs Japanese IT services provider NEC. It traditionally focused on hardware such as PCs, but is transforming into a systems integrator with a focus on biometric recognition and AI technology. We're now joined by NEC President and CEO Takayuki Morita. Great to have you in studio today. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me here.
Let's talk a little bit about your business, because you've gone through this amazing transformation from hardware into software, digital solution services as well. Not to mention that your defense business is doing very well. Walk us through that.
I think as to the 30 years depressions and also the IT crashes and in Japan, we were forced to sell and exit the business, maybe two-thirds of the businesses. But while we are continuously investing into the software and our strong areas, and that is helping us to transform the companies into a more like a software system-oriented companies. And thanks to the recent budget increase by Japanese government and for the defense areas, that is also helping us to grow and in a more healthy situations.
Especially as we continue to see a lot of geopolitical risk around the world, how big of a factor will defense spending be for your business?
Geopolitical risk is the possibility that international political events, such as wars, elections, sanctions, or diplomatic tensions, will disrupt markets and economies. These risks can lead to higher uncertainty, supply shortages, or changes in investor confidence. Companies and governments track geopolitical risk to prepare for sudden changes that might affect trade, energy, or financial stability.
I think there are two things. And a budget for the defense itself is growing, but at the same time, importance of advanced technologies within the defense is also increasing, such as cyberspace and also cybersecurities and also communications and encryptions and so on. Those areas is really what NEC is putting our effort long terms.
Yeah, because we also talk, of course, about the AI technology boom that we're seeing, the data center investments right now. You have even subsea cable businesses. Telecom is all part of your business. How big of a chunk will that be in the years to come?
I think right now it's about one-third of the business is related to those kind of social infrastructure, ICT, we call, and it's growing. And last year, and our revenues, our order intakes is doubled, and that trend is continued to, and to the very strong, I think.
What is the biggest risk for your business? Are you looking at geopolitical risks?
I think geopolitical things, we have to manage it, but that is really kind of a positive impact on us. We have to deal with it, but that's okay. I think that the biggest risk is kind of sudden changes of economic trends. It's interest rates and also the supply chain disruptions and also regulatory changes. Those things are the kind of impacting on our kind of continuous business operations.
A supply chain is the system that moves a product from where it's created to where it's consumed. This includes raw materials, manufacturing, transportation, and delivery. When any part of the supply chain breaks, such as during a natural disaster, a pandemic, or a political conflict, product availability and prices can be affected worldwide. That's why companies work to build stronger and more flexible supply chains today.
How close attention do you pay when it comes to market fluctuations, FX fluctuations, and how much that sort of risk poses to your business?
What do you mean by that?
obviously, the movements in the yen is one of the sort of top topics of conversation for Japan Inc. and corporates, right? How closely do you monitor some of the market gyrations that we've seen, and is that a significant challenge to being able to model forecasts and growth for your business?
I think our business is kind of managing the sudden changes environment, and I think we can handle those type of things by taking several countermeasures.
Such as, especially because 70% of your revenue is generated in Japan, right? But you still have a lot of business externally, right? So if you see a lot of volatility in the yen from 139 to 162, for example, in just a matter of months, how do you hedge that?
Volatility refers to how much and how quickly prices move in financial markets. When a market is highly volatile, prices rise and fall fast, often reacting to news or uncertainty. Low volatility means prices are more stable. Investors watch volatility closely because it reflects how risky a market feels at a given moment.
Yeah, I think that for the short term, it's very difficult for the single companies to manage it. So as long as that is a kind of change is kind of gradual, and it's very much okay for us to handle it. So I really respect the communications among the central government and the central banks to coordinate those some things. As long as that is predictable, even if it is a very sudden changes, we can handle those type of changes. But it's kind of beyond the predictable level. That's very difficult for us to do it.
That is the key question here in Japan right now, isn't it? Because even the predictability between communications between the government and the Bank of Japan, we're headed towards another election.
Yeah, but right now it's about 150, 140, 130. That's really okay for us. But,
because it's very range bound.
Yes. It's about 20 yens and those type of things. We can handle it. But if it's a kind of going down to the half of that or maybe doubled, that's impossible. We really need to transform our supply chain systems, and also we really need to consider production locations that takes us a lot of time to change. So I think 20%, 25%, that's range. We can do it doing some kind of hedging, and also have a kind of contract and kind of adjusting for those kind of changes in the cooperation with the government and also the customers. That's fine.
Hedging is a strategy used to reduce or offset risk. It's like an insurance policy for investments. For example, if a company is worried about currency fluctuations, it might hedge by locking in an exchange rate. Investors hedge to protect their portfolios, and businesses hedge to stabilize costs. The goal of hedging isn't to make a profit, it's to prevent big losses when markets move unexpectedly.
What do you want to see from the government in the coming months, especially given that right now we're not quite sure how the general election will turn out on Monday and on Sunday, and if the new prime minister could get his mandate in order to pursue the changes that he wants?
I think I want the government, I believe they understand very well how important economic is. Economic is very important even for securing the peaceful world. So I think they are leading some kind of coordinated conversations and to make the economic situations, including interest rate and exchange rate, more in a predictable level of the changes. That's our hope.
Predictability, so important for business, isn't it? Takayuki Morita, great to have you with us. Thank you so much for making the time, President and CEO at NEC. We have more ahead on the Asia Trade. This is Bloomberg.